Hello, and welcome to this Python tutorial where we will explore the concept of variables. Whether you are just starting your coding journey or brushing up your basics, this video will help you understand what variables are, how to use them, and why they are essential in programming. So grab your laptop, open your Python editor, and let us begin. First of all, let us answer the big question. What is a variable? In Python, a variable is a name that refers to a value. You can think of a variable as a label that you attach to a box, and inside that box is some kind of data. This could be a number, a piece of text, or even something more complex like a list or a dictionary. By using variables, we can store values, reuse them, change them, and perform operations on them later in our programs. Now, let us look at how to create a variable in Python. To create a variable, you simply write the variable name followed by an equal sign and then the value you want to store. Let us look at an example. Name equals John. Here we have created a variable called name and assigned it the value John. Python automatically understands that John is a string, which is a sequence of characters. You do not need to tell Python that name is a string variable. It figures that out by itself based on the value you give it. This feature of Python is called dynamic typing. Now, let us try a few more examples. Age equals 25. Height equals 5.9. Is_student equals true. In these examples, we have created different types of variables. Age stores an integer value. Height stores a floating point number, which is a number with a decimal. Is_student stores a boolean value, which can either be true or false. This shows that Python can handle multiple data types, and assigning values to variables is simple and flexible. One of the key things to remember in Python is that variables are case-sensitive. That means the variable name written in uppercase is not the same as one written in lowercase. For example, name with a capital N is not the same as name with a lowercase n. These are two completely different variables in Python. Next, let us talk about naming rules for variables. While naming variables in Python, you need to follow some simple rules. The variable name must start with a letter or an underscore. It cannot start with a number. The name can contain letters, numbers, and underscores, but no special symbols like percentage or ampersand. Also avoid using Python reserved words like print input or for as variable names because they are already used by the language for specific purposes. Here are some good examples of variable names. User_name, total_, student age. And here are some invalid examples. Too cool. Username with a space, if which is a reserved word. Now that we have covered the basics of creating and naming variables, let us look at how we can update or change their values. In Python, variables are dynamic, which means you can change the value of a variable at any point in your code. Let us see this in action. Score equals 10. Print score. Score equals 20. Print score. First, we assign 10 to the variable score and print it. Then we change the value to 20 and print it again. This is completely allowed in Python, and it makes the language very flexible. In fact, you can even change the type of value stored in the variable. Let's look at this example. Data equals 100. Print data. Data equals hello. Print data. In this case, we first assign an integer value to data, and then we assign a string to the same variable. Python accepts this without any error. However, this can sometimes lead to confusion or bugs, so it is a good practice to keep variable types consistent unless you have a specific reason to change them. Another cool feature in Python is multiple assignment. This means you can assign values to multiple variables in one line. For example, x, y, z equals 1, 2, 3. This assigns 1 to x, 2 to y, and 3 to z. You can also assign the same value to multiple variables at once like this. A equals B equals C equals 100. This assigns the value 100 to all three variables. Now, let us take a look at some common data types that variables can store. First, we have strings. A string is a sequence of characters enclosed in quotes. Example, message equals hello Python. Next, we have integers. These are whole numbers without decimals. Count equals 50. Then we have floating point numbers. These are numbers with decimals. Price equals 99.99. We also have booleans. These represent true or false values. Is underscore active equals true. In addition to these, there are other complex data types like lists, dictionaries, tuples, and sets, which we will cover in future tutorials. Let us talk about printing variables. To display the value of a variable, you can use the print function. Example: name equals Alice. Print name. This will output the value stored in the variable name. You can also print multiple variables at once. Example: name equals Bob. Age equals 30. Print name age. This will print both the name and age values. Sometimes you may want to include variables inside a sentence. This is where string formatting comes in handy. Here is how you do it. Name equals Sam. Print hello, my name is name. This will not work as expected because the name inside the string is not connected to the variable. Instead, you should use an F string like this. Printf hello, my name is name. This will correctly insert the value of the name variable into the sentence. Now, let us wrap up with a few practice exercises. Try creating the following variables in your Python editor. First underscore name with your first name as a string. Age with your age as a number. GPA with your grade point average as a float. Is underscore enrolled with the value true. Then use the print function to display each variable. Finally, try using an F string to print a short introduction about yourself using those variables. Congratulations! You have just learned the fundamentals of variables in Python. You now know how to create a sign update and print variables. You also understand how Python handles different data types and how to name variables properly. In the next video, we will dive into data types in more detail and explore how to perform operations with them. If you found this tutorial helpful, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next lesson. Also, drop a comment below if you have any questions or topics you would like us to cover in future tutorials. Thank you for watching and happy coding!